Clerk may inquire.
Thank you, Your Honor. Madam Foreperson, on indictment 2016-068 on Commonwealth v. Joshua Hart for charge of murder. As to the indictment charging the defendant with murder of Thomas Harty, we the jury find Joshua Hart. What is your verdict? Guilty, or excuse me, not guilty, or guilty of murder in the first degree?
Guilty of murder in the first degree.
And as to the theory, what is your verdict? Is it the options deliberate premeditation and or extreme atrocity or cruelty and or felony murder?
Felony murder.
Please identify the specific underlying felony committed by the defendant that caused the death of Thomas Harty, burglary being armed and masked, an assault and or armed robbery. What is your verdict?
Burglary and armed robbery.
As to the indictment charging the defendant with murder of Joanna Fisher, we, the jury, find the defendant not guilty or guilty of murder in the first degree by reason of deliberate premeditation and or extreme atrocity or cruelty and or felony murder. What is your verdict?
Guilty of murder in the first degree by,
Deliberate premeditation and or extreme atrocity or cruelty and or felony murder.
Deliberate premeditation and extreme cruelty and felony murder.
Please identify the specific underlying felony committed by the defendant that caused the death of Joanna Fisher, burglary being armed or masked, an assault or making an assault and or armed robbery. What is your verdict?
Burglary and armed robbery.
As to the charge of attempt to commit a crime, that being murder, as the indictment charging the defendant with attempt to commit a crime, murder of Joanna Fisher, we the jury find the defendant not guilty or guilty. What is your verdict, Madam Foreperson?
Guilty.
As to the charge of armed robbery, as to the indictment charging the defendant with armed robbery of Thomas Harty, we the jury find the defendant not guilty or guilty. What is your verdict, Madam Foreperson?
Guilty.
As to the indictment charging the defendant with armed robbery of Joanna Fisher, we the jury find the defendant not guilty or guilty. What is your verdict, Madam Foreperson?
Guilty.
As to the charge of larceny of a motor vehicle, as to the indictment charging the defendant with larceny of a motor vehicle, we the jury find the defendant not guilty or guilty. What is your verdict, Madam Foreperson?
Guilty.
As to the charge of fraudulent use of a credit card, as to the indictment charging the defendant with fraudulent use of a credit card, we the jury find the defendant not guilty or guilty. What is your verdict, Madam Foreperson?
Guilty.
Madam Foreperson, members of this jury, hearken to the indictments as they are being recorded. On the indictment for murder, as the indictment charging the defendant with murder of Thomas Harty, we the jury find Joshua Hart guilty of first degree by reason of felony murder. So say, Madam Foreperson?
Yes.
So say, members of this jury?
Yes.
Is this verdict unanimous?
Yes.